Hi there, I'm going to share a scripture reflection on the readings that have been suggested for churches to look at today. The first reading is from Psalm 1, and the second is from Mark's Gospel, chapter 9, verse 30 to 37. So feel free to pause this, have a read of them, and then come back to this video. When I was reflecting on today's readings, they brought to mind for me a book called Falling Upward, which is written by Richard Rohr. He's a Franciscan priest. And he says that our lives tend to have two stages: a stage where we're trying to build a strong and dependable faith and identity, and a stage where we're realizing that that faith and identity is actually limited and it has its failings. And we need to nurture people in both of these stages of faith. Different parts of the scripture speak to different stages of faith. When we read Psalm 1, it says that people who do good are blessed. They're like trees that grow beside the water, which grow and prosper and provide fruit to feed people. Nothing goes wrong for them. It's very simple. It's the kind of simplicity that we need when we're starting out in faith and life. At this stage, we need to have clarity and certainty and confidence in what we believe. Every question has to have a clear yes or no. There has to always be a clear right and wrong. And we need to be clear that we have the answers and that our answers are right. We need to know that we're going to succeed. We need to have the confidence that this way that we're following is the correct way and that it's going to lead to a good life. But we're going to get to a stage where this good and simple faith is brought into question. In the gospel reading, Jesus is dealing with the limitations of this good and simple faith that served him during the first stage of life. Because he's recognizing that even though he's lived a good life, in fact, because he's been living a good and righteous and just life, he's going to die. He's going to be punished for doing the right thing, for living a good life. And his people are not free to be able to enjoy living the good life that they would like to be able to. Everything's not right in the world. During this stage of life, we might see the trees in that psalm differently. Those thriving trees might actually be growing up and bearing fruit in a difficult environment. In the desert, there are places where there's water, but it's underground, an invisible stream that is only seen when the floods come. It can't be seen, but the plants can grow in that spot because it's a bit damp. The trees in that psalm might actually be growing in very sparse conditions, being nurtured by the water that's flowing underground. It might lead us to think about what it means to live a good life. Maybe in the second stage of life, it means living well and appreciating the good things, even though we might be growing in a difficult environment. When Jesus talks with his friends about his impending death, they can't handle it. They're not ready for it. They're not able to face that kind of crisis. And they're not able to face the crisis that it presents for their faith. They're focused on building themselves up and securing themselves because that's the stage of life and faith that they're at. They're concerned with who should be the leader when he's gone because they need clarity. Jesus' own response in the face of his demise is to focus on the children, the ones whose life and faith need nurturing and protecting in the present, so that they can also live and grow in the midst of difficulty.